What in the world? I mean, what in the world? The Sharks down 3-0 and win on home ice? Plan the parade, everyone. Break down this victory, this unexpected victory against one of the best teams in the West. And we'll do it right now here on Teal Town After Dark. Good evening, everyone. It is January 18th. It's Hump Day. Whoop, whoop. And the Sharks get over the hump and get James Reimer his 200th victory by a score of 5-3 over the Dallas Stars. We welcome you to Teal Town After Dark. This is your live interactive Sharks postgame. You can chat with us and fellow Sharks fans all over the world and in Sharks territory on the YouTube page or the app to be a part of the show. Of course, follow us on the social Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, SoundCloud, Discord, Reddit, TikTok. Find everything at tealtownusa.com. And hey, if you want to support what we do here, you can Venmo us at tealtownusa or hit us up on a YouTube super chat. And with that, good evening to Mr. Ian Reid. Ian, we thought we were going to see a potential blowout and then end up victorious? What in the world?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good thing that this kind of went down the way it did because after the first period, I'm like, am I even going to be awake for After Dark? Like, is this going to be a thing that I'm going to be awake for and have any energy for? And except that first period, I was like, oh, God, this is going to be a long, bloody night. But no, credit to the Sharks. They came back. They played a really good second period and kind of carried the momentum through the third. And they got a win against what, in my opinion, is a very good team. So it's definitely a good win.
Yeah. Dallas is, like, as we said, they're battling with Winnipeg in the Central up until Colorado makes their crazy push. That'll happen at the end of the year. They've just been on a roll lately. Of course, Jason Robertson get off to a good start. He's kind of slowed down just a little bit. I mean, when you hit 30 goals before the All-Star break, I mean, it's tough to say for you to slow down. But let's get at it early on. Little tough to handle. Dellandrea gets his 6th of the season. He ends a 15-game goalless drought. And like the first 5 minutes in, Ian, they were getting out. The Sharks are getting outshot 6-0, and it's like, oh boy, this is not a good start.
Yeah, I mean, they were incredibly flat when they came out, and like that Dellandrea goal, I've been a big James Reimer guy, but even I can admit that James Reimer hasn't really looked like James Reimer this year. It's been kind of a down year for him, and like that's a bad goal. The Dellandrea goal's a goal that just can't go in. Period. I mean, it's unobstructed. Like, it's a nice shot. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's a nice shot by Dellandrea, but I mean that from that position, that with that much space, the goalie can see it. There's no screen there. James Reimer sees that all the way in, and to his credit, he looked pretty frustrated after that goal because I'm sure he felt the same way. Like, oof, that's one I probably want back. But yeah, I mean, again, it's hard to beat up on James Reimer when the team in front of him is so flat as well.
Yeah. So down 1-0, that was pretty much everything that happened in the first period. I thought they played a little bit better later on, even despite having Ferraro take a holding penalty, Magna taking a cross check. Both happened against Mason Marchment. I would say maybe a shaky call on the cross check. Ferraro literally was like giving him a bro hug and be like, "Hey, how you doing, man? Good to see you." But 10-6 in the shots. I mean, yeah, it wasn't exactly the best first period, and then the craziness happened in the middle frame because That's so Sharks. But it would start off rough. Jason Robertson gets his 30th from Miller and Heiskanen to make it 2-0, and then
Yeah, and just bad blown coverage on that call. I'm not sure what they were doing, but you let Jason Robertson in that close with the puck, he's probably going to put it in the net. Yeah, I mean, and I don't really fault Reimer on that one. I think the first one's the only one I think he really wants back. The second one I put just squarely on team defense. And again, like, they just were so flat in the first period. They just looked disinterested, and I thought Dallas really, really carried the play through that first period.
Yeah, and pretty much into this almost the first half of the second period, Fox, it goes off of Timo Meier. Timo, if you want to score for Dallas that badly, just let them know that you want to get traded there. Fox says, fourth of the season, that makes it 3-0, and it's just looking like, okay, it's not their night.
Yeah, I'm just like, at this point, I think I tweeted out like, how many games are left? The answer, too many. Yeah, I like, and again, that goal, I mean, they just kind of throw our hands up at that point in the game, right? Like, it's a bad bounce. I don't really blame Reimer. I don't really, again, it's just players trying to do good things, and sometimes it ends badly for you. And this was that case. And so, again, I was more just at this point completely annoyed with the team. It's like, what you want to have reasons to watch in like that first period. Like, if that had carried through, we'd be sitting here asking ourselves, what the hell are we doing with our lives?
And what were we doing? Talking about a game where what the hell, Sharks, what the hell? But what the hell, Sharks, happened? It was kind of like all of a sudden you see Lawrence get his fifth on a nice little backhanded shot. I thought a little bit there to get on the board. Gregor with his first assist of the year.
Yeah, Noah Gregor, like Stephen Lawrence, really good shot by Stephen Lawrence, but I think the work that Noah Gregor does on that goal shouldn't go understated. Like, obviously the goal is always going to be the thing that everyone goes to, because that's the end result, right? It's the pretty thing. And credit to Stephen Lawrence, I think it was a great shot, but I think the work that Noah Gregor did before that, basically he's definitely trying to stay in the lineup. And yeah. I think David Quinn is going to have a tough decision now, trying to decide, if it's Kevin LeBanc or Noah Gregor. I think he's going to have a tough decision deciding on who he's going to play. Now, you have 12 forwards, you could play them both. However, that's,
that's asking too much, dude.
That's probably asking.
Yeah, kind of echoing what Burge7F91 said in the chat. Can someone tell me why Noah Gregor got scratched so many times when his speed is on the ice? He appears to make a difference. I think LeBanc has played his last game as a Shark. I would say it's more so the finish.
I don't think it's that serious. I don't want to, like, I shouldn't laugh, but I don't think it's that serious. I don't think Kevin LeBanc's time as a Shark are over, based, because again, like, you can play them both at the same time. It doesn't have to be one or the other. You've got a bunch of like useless parts that you could swap around if you really wanted to. I don't know, man. Like, again, I think Kevin LeBanc's been good this year.
I thought
I don't think he's been that bad. Like, I don't think he's been bad. I think he's been fine. I think he's put points up. I think he's helped on the lines he's been on. I know he's a polarizing player, but and there's been times where I've been really, really low on Kevin LeBanc, but I think this year he's been fine. Like, I don't think that whatever's going on, like, again, I'm not in the room, but like, this is a second coach where he's found himself kind of in an extended doghouse with. So, I wonder if there's other issues maybe going on there, but I don't again, you can play them both. You don't have to play one or the other.
One guy was on the top line for the longest time, was producing. The other one was on the third line and having trouble to finish. They're both good players. They both can be in the lineup. And
I think there's room for both guys on this team, in this lineup, as currently constructed.
And
however, I am not the coach of this team.
And tell me I'm wrong, but come March 3rd, I wouldn't be surprised if they are both still on this team and in the lineup, if they aren't traded.
Perhaps. I think Kevin Labanc is an interesting guy, right? Because Kevin Labanc has another year left on a deal that makes him almost $5 million. So I can't imagine him being moved at the deadline. Noah Gregor's a guy who, someone could move, but I feel like, I don't know. Might somebody take a look at Noah Gregor? Maybe, but I don't think it's not going to be. It's going to be like a trade we'll talk about later, right? I don't think it would be anything like that's going to super light the internet on fire. We'll probably still do a 4-hour show about it when it happens.
Absolutely.
But I don't think, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think if you're looking at guys that teams might take a look at, I think, especially for just like a spare part, someone to round up your depth or whatever, I think there's other guys on the roster currently that fit that bill better than Noah Gregor. But I could be wrong.
We'll see how it plays out. But yeah, Gregor showing his speed. He gets an assist on the first Sharks goal to make it 3-1. And then a little less than 2 minutes later, Bonino gets on a roll again. His 7th back-to-back games with a goal. 3 goals in his last 4 games from Barabanov and Erik Karlsson. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah,
we're making it entertaining. This is what we've been talking about all season.
Yes, exactly. Like the game could have, as long as the game had the intensity that it did and finished that way, like I would have been fine. I would have been here and I would have been all out of anger like I was last game. But again, like Nick Bonino has been kind of on a tear, and there's a guy who I think someone might take, a look at the trade deadline. He makes like just over $2 million, I think $2,050,000 or something like that. But again, prorated end of the year, whatever. Nick Bonino's a guy that might draw interest from some teams. I don't know. Again, I don't know if the return will be anything super spectacular, but could be.
We'll see. You saw what Cogliano went last year. Maybe that's Bonino this year, and starting to heat up, getting his 7th of the year. Cuts that Dallas lead down to 1. Then Ben goes off for hooking that set up a Sharks power play. And Timo Meier with his 12th power play goal of the season, 26th of the year. Karlsson and Hertl with the assist. Not surprised from those two, especially on the power play. And it just seemed like they were
rolling.
They were making the fellow fans like, oh my God, shoot the damn puck. But then, okay, they shot it and then went
in. I'm not gonna lie, I was definitely like yelling at my monitor a little bit.
What the hell are you doing?
Like, just take a shot. Like, I understand, again, trying to wait for the perfect shot, and they did. I felt bad though, because at first, like, the TV made it sound like it was Couture that scored, and I thought, oh, that's nice for Couture. He really needed that. But then they showed the replay. I'm like, Logan Couture did not touch that puck. But again, like Timo Meier, again, if he's going to draw interest, I think Timo Meier is one of the guys. I'm not advocating selling Timo Meier, but if you did, like, that's going to get you a return. I think it's going to get, like, that is a player that would get you a significant return, even with the cap and everything being what it is, I think. So it's good to see Timo doing well. Again, I'm not advocating for trading him, but if that were to happen, I think that would be, that would be interesting. I think that would be worth doing a 4-hour show about when trade deadline happens.
You're dying to do a 4-hour show, aren't you?
Am I ever?
It's
I'll
like
use my voice again.
It's like
the draft show I do with Mark. I think I don't think I'd have voice at the end of that show.
That was like on a very special 3-hour pucking holidays. Uh,
Yeah, Michael Velez is the broadcast which you're advocating for it. Look, the rights holders, they have to do trade deadline shows. I understand them wanting to like try and give you a reason to watch because I don't think they're gonna have much to talk about trade deadline day. But they're gonna try and give you a reason to tune in. So yeah, of course they're gonna advocate for a Timo Meier trade and Erik Karlsson. Everything trade, forgetting the fact that there's just no movement in the salary cap right now.
and that's the thing. I mean, it's almost like you're going to have to broker an extra team in order to make this work. And those are going to be few and far between from years past. So we'll be interested.
Yeah, I think the sign and trade deals, like the potential of a sign and trade is always interesting, though. I think it's something that I'd like to see happen in the NHL more. I think teams should weaponize their extra year, but what do I know?
Hey, I mean, that gets them, and then they move them, and whatever you can get more of a return, if that's possible. If you're going to, one, not be able to re-sign Timo, two, a team that's going to want him around to see him as a future, and be a sucker for 8 years, because those 8-year deals always work out.
Yeah, but I mean, if you don't, again, though, like things that Ian always says, like if you don't sign the 8-year deal, someone else will, and then you don't have any good players. So choose your poison.
Indeed. So 3-3 after 2 periods of play. Sharks make that 3-0 comeback. And then the third period, waiting, and then Erik Karlsson. I still don't understand how the heck he got that shot through. Just like sign him up for the shooting accuracy event when he goes down to South Florida for the All-Star game, because man, that was a shot.
What a goal!
And that was the game winner, indeed.
And it was great. I mean, and they showed it like a bajillion times, and I think I tweeted something along the lines of, "One can only get so hard. You can stop showing this now." Yeah, I mean, amazing goal. And again, and the Sharks deserved it. I thought after the first period they played really, really well. They hung with again, Dallas is really good. I don't know about this team isn't very good, but it can, when they want to, they've been able to hang around with teams that they probably shouldn't have been able to. And Dallas is a team that they probably shouldn't have been able to hang around with. No. And so credit to them, right? And also Karlsson, scores that goal on, in my opinion, one of the better goalies in the league. Probably in my top 10 right now.
Ottinger has been phenomenal. I think he really got eyes open during last year's playoff series against Calgary, and he's just taken the reins when he's been healthy to do so. And this is very surprising for him to blow the 3-0 lead of that nature.
I don't think the team in front of him helped him a lot either, though. I think
true.
after the first period, when the Sharks really started coming on, I thought that Dallas got a little scrambly and maybe a little bit off their game a little more. I thought the Sharks are a fascinating team, because I find they can sometimes really mess teams up with their forecheck, but they can't defend a forecheck to save their life. It's one of those weird conundrums that I'll never understand about this team.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong there. Let's talk James Reimer. 33 saves, 36 shots on him. Finally gets his 200th victory.
Yeah. Good for Reimer. I love James Reimer, man. Has he had the season that we were hoping that he would have? No. I'm seeing a lot of Twitter oh, James Reimer's not been good this year. He's not going to draw out anything at the trade deadline. He wasn't going to draw anything good at the trade deadline anyway. I don't know, man. I feel look, when I look at James Reimer, there's been opportunities where teams have been in goalie issues, and I feel if a team wanted James Reimer, they probably could have had him at any point.
Right.
If they offered up the right thing. That said, I still think, someone might look at James Reimer, but I honestly, if James Reimer's still here after the trade deadline, I'm also not very surprised.
unless I just think some team that wants that extra goaltending is gonna call, and you take what you get. I mean, what Dubnik went for what, like a fifth rounder a couple of years ago to Colorado.
I Yeah, like goalie. I mean, that's the thing, right? Goalies generally don't get much at the trade deadline unless you're
Right.
Marc-Andre Fleury. But James Reimer is not Marc-Andre Fleury.
Let's be. Oh, wait, which trade are we talking about? The one from Chicago to Minnesota?
Yeah.
The okay, that one. Oh, I was thinking. Sorry, I was thinking the one from Vegas to Chicago where it was practically nothing.
Well, no, I mean that. But when you're up against the cap, when you've mismanaged the cap as badly as Vegas has, I mean, sacrifices must be made. Um, no, I don't know. I mean, I hope James Reimer's gone just because I want to see poor Strauss man not have to keep flying back and forth from Wichita. I'd like to see him kind of be able to get a shot. Um, but again, like, you'd like to see somebody come up and back up Capo Kakinen the rest of the way. And then, to make room for an actual two goalie system in the Barracuda instead of the three-headed monster they currently are sporting. But that's it. I just won't be surprised if James Reimer's here after the trade deadline.
Yeah, and Kevin Lacey chiming in. Even at $2.25 million, the Sharks will need to retain half of.
Well, it's all prorated at the end of the. It's like at the end of the season, right? Like it's whatever's left. Like it's all prorated anyway. So trade deadline deals are easier to do.
So
because the way the cap's calculated.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I would love to see one of the kids get called up or Arundel.
Yeah, or like either Arundel comes up in Makiniemi and who I've been a big fan of this year, Makiniemi, and Strauss-Mann can take the Garrafuda pipes, or maybe maybe Makiniemi comes back up and it's Arundel playing with Strauss-Mann. I whatever the combination is, like I just would like to see Strauss-Mann get an opportunity to play more consistently with the Barracuda because I think he's been pretty good.
And I hope he's been racking up the frequent flyer miles going between San Jose and Wichita. He deserves a trip to Hawaii in the off season after the traveling he's been doing, for sure. Couture would get the empty netter. That would make it 5-3, the final there, which would mean Erik Karlsson had a goal and 3 assists tonight. He reaches the 60-point mark in 46 games, joining only Bobby Orr, Paul Coffey, and Dennis Potvin as the only defenseman to do so. Of course, those guys did it multiple times. The last time this happened was 1988-89 by Paul Coffey, before Karlsson was even born.
Yes, that is a thing that happened.
That is a thing that happened at a 60-point mark. That's just unbelievable. So hats off to the.
If I'm Paul Coffey, I'm so bad. I'm so angry that Bobby Orr exists because I think Paul Coffey's the guy that doesn't get enough flowers because of Bobby Orr.
Absolutely.
And don't get me wrong, Bobby Orr is fucking great, but like
Paul Coffey really.
Yeah.
No, and did it for so many teams in one multiple
and for so long
ever.
too, right? Yeah,
exactly. I mean, Coffey did it in Edmonton, did it in Pittsburgh. I don't think he won in Detroit. I think he got moved for Shanny by then. Yeah, he's very.
I'm pretty sure. I think he won cups in Detroit.
Did he? Okay, my bad on that.
Think so.
But I mean,
I think so. But who the fuck knows?
Gotcha.
It's so long ago, and I've that's 2. So I'm on the demonetization train.
Oh, thanks a lot. Thanks so much. You can pay for the SoundCloud bill later this week. Reimer with Remenda on the post game. That was the game plan. We knew if we spotted them 3.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you spot a team 3 goals, I mean, you're gonna
come. Good for them to having a little bit of a sense of humor with the victory this evening. I mean, oh, that's a good one. Titan, the quiet boy, Sharks setting the tone for Niners versus Dallas this weekend. Let's fucking go. Oh, crap.
Look at you go.
Wow. Me of all people. See, you get me all excited about Niners and Cowboys, and it's going. Kevin mentioning that pretty sure your coffee was traded from Detroit in '96.
Yeah, I'd
Okay,
have to go look.
we have to. I want to say it was the Primo trade or Shanahan trade. It's something. I know it was with Hartford, or he was trying to go to Hartford and he wouldn't report. Maybe he
Hmm.
went to Philly, if I'm not something like that. Anyways, I digress. Sharks win this one 5-3 over the Dallas Stars, coming back from a 3-0 deficit. I mean, sick taps all around. After the 3-0 hole, I mean, they played really solid. But yeah, it goes to show you how things looked good. I thought the other night against the other day against New Jersey, and they just fell apart. Not gonna lie, I was waiting for Dallas to tie it up from like a shot from Heiskanen from the point.
I got really nervous. I think it was Robertson almost found a hole between Reimer and the post, and I was terrified when I saw that. I was yuck.
Yeah. So
apparently, to be fair, YouTube profanity watches focus on the first 2 minutes, so he should be fine now. I mean, don't go full Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, but you should be good. All right, good to know.
Good for that. All right, so Sharks win this one. Let's go over the trades, which means
we have a trade to announce.
Thank you, Kevin Lacey. So the Sharks did make a couple of trades. The organization did. Kyle Criscuolo comes to San Jose and most likely going to the Barracuda in exchange for Jasper Weatherby. And, of course, Patrick McGrath also goes to Grand Rapids for that, that future considerations.
Player?
Yes, your favorite player, future considerations, or as Shirk likes to call it, maybe a slight little cap space, but more so just the contract limit. Here, you're allowed 50, and now this gets the Sharks down to
no, it doesn't.
It doesn't?
No, because, here's the thing, right? So you traded Jasper Weatherby for Kyle Criscuolo. Both are on 2-way deals. So they're both 50. So the Sharks contract thing didn't change. This is a guy for a guy. Now, Patrick McGrath is on an AHL-only deal, so he doesn't count towards your 50 contract limit. And that's why it's a separate deal for future considerations done between the Barracuda and the Grand Rapids Griffins, whereas the first trade's between the Sharks and the Red Wings. So now with all that nuance aside, so it doesn't clear any contracts. Like, the Sharks are still at 50. I thought it cleared a contract, and then I opened my eyes and learned how to read. Put my glasses on. So they didn't clear a contract, which is what I thought when this trade went down. I'm like, oh, it makes sense, clear a contract. So it's a puzzling trade. And if you're a big Jasper Weatherby guy, plug your ears. To this trade, I wonder if this is a situation where, like, the Barracuda just, feels like maybe they don't have enough leadership in the room, and maybe this is the Sharks trying to, because again, if you're not losing a contract, this trade doesn't make a lot of sense. So we're going to go off into wild speculation time with Ian, which is what I do best on this channel.
All right, back.
I have to wonder if this is a situation where maybe there's a leadership deficit in the room that the Sharks have identified, and they're trying to shore that up a little bit, because this is a guy who's been in the AHL for a long time, veteran of like a bajillion games. So I think, and in Jasper Weatherby's a popular guy, but again, I think I've always said, like, the Sharks have a lot of that guy. Mm-hmm. Like, they have that guy in spades, man. So, like, to me, I've also been very skeptical that there is a future regular NHL guy there. Jasper Weatherby is going to be like 25 in this week, I think. Right? So I think Jasper Weatherby's probably, it is what it is. I think that he's probably what he's going to be at this point. To me, that's not an NHLer. I think he's a career AHLer. I mean, this is a guy who in 39 games has 6 points and 39 penalty minutes. So, I mean, he wasn't bringing a whole lot to the Barracuda, unfortunately, this year. And I don't think there's a whole lot of NHL upside there. So I'm pretty indifferent about the trade. I don't think it really moves me anyway. Like, I'm not super excited about it. We've probably talked longer than this trade deserves. But yeah, and Patrick McGrath is just an AHLer that, moving from one team to another, I'm not sure what it is. I would like to think it's the Sharks trying to address a leadership void, because I think, look at the Barracuda this year have been kind of an undisciplined mess, and I don't know if this guy's going to come in and help shore that up. But yeah, I mean, they've been, I'm starting to question the coaching a little bit here, because I think there's just problems that have ailed the Barracuda all year that just haven't been addressed yet. Like, they just continue to fall victim to the same shit that they did in the first 10 games as we're this far into the season. So I don't know. I have a lot of questions about the Barracuda right now. And I'm curious to see what Mike Kuhre does this summer in regards to the Barracuda.
Yeah, I think you and what Kevin's saying been spot on the head. Looking for some more leadership, some more guys to help out and kind of help out the kids a little bit. Let's be honest here. Try to be that.
Yeah, and I'm just going to read Lacey's comment here, because I think he's bang on. There is definitely a leadership issue on the Barracuda. Look at how they have no discipline at all this season. Yeah. Their strongest trait has been unraveling at the seams at the blow of any whistle, and he's not wrong. I mean, we watched like that too. The game against, was it the Canucks, where Jeff Viel scored a goal and then immediately took a penalty, and then someone else immediately took a penalty, and then it was like, and then the game just completely got away from them after they fought so hard to get back in it. Like, just stupid. Like, I was so angry after that game. That was the free one too. Like, if everyone got to watch for free, just like the shit that I've been talking about all year. The Barracuda definitely have some issues that need to be sorted out, and hopefully this maybe helps address that. I don't know, man. I'm grasping at straws here.
No, but I hope that's what that is, because they could use some help whenever way possible. I mean, you got to stay disciplined, and that's the last thing that this team needs, or either one, whether it's Sharks or Barracuda. I know it's been a disaster for the Cuda in that sense. So hopefully,
the last thing the Sharks need is like to trade for another guy to put in the lineup over people that can actually play hockey. I don't know. And again, I've never seen this guy play, so I don't want to be too rude from him, but like, I don't. This is a Barracuda move. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Sleepy Mofo asking, was hiring McCarthy too premature, or basically promoting him from assistant, because he was an assistant with Sommer last year, correct?
Yeah, I someone needs to refresh my memory on the timeline, because was the Barracuda coaching stuff done before Mike Kuhre was hired? I feel like it was, but I'm having a hard time remembering that timeline.
Couldn't tell you.
I know, I am drawing a blank.
Yeah.
Which is just good YouTube.
Right.
I don't know. I'm an idiot.
Well, we'll clip that one. All right. Kevin mentioning on here, Chris Coolwell was a key player on the Grand Rapids team that beat the Barracuda in the conference finals and then won the Calder Cup. Yep, I had seen that he was on a good run that playoff year.
Yeah.
So that were the pair of trades going this afternoon for the Sharks and the Barracuda. Of course, I think all the players will be heading right to the CUDA and Grand Rapids.
Yeah. I think
I can't see Weatherby getting called up from Detroit unless something crazy happened.
Yeah.
So
So there you go.
yeah.
I didn't have it in front of me, and I just forgot the timeline.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm an idiot. I'm a guy who has a microphone and a YouTube camera, and sometimes I say smart things, and sometimes I say really dumb things.
And with that, we just want to make sure you please subscribe.
Yes, absolutely. To hear more slapdick shit from me, subscribe to this channel.
Oh God. Jeez. Thank you. Pashelka asked David Quinn if he can imagine the Sharks without Erik Karlsson, to which Quinn said, I don't want to manage this team. I don't want to imagine this team without him. Why do you have to do that to me?
For sure.
I mean, easily. I mean, he could be traded before the deadline, and
he's not getting traded. Oh my God! Shut up! He's not getting traded.
Oh, come on!
He makes $11.5 million fucking dollars. He's not going anywhere. There's nowhere for him to go.
He's gonna be temporarily traded to Arizona, and they're gonna send him to Edmonton, where we get Jesse Puljujarvi and Kyler Yamamoto and a first-round pick. Come on now.
Oh my God.
It could be worse. We could mention Timo Meier apparently going to the Rangers.
I mean, that makes more sense than whatever. Whatever. Move on.
Okay. All right. Well, I got nothing. I think we. I mean, what's next? We're probably gonna break down Noah Gregor and Kevin Labanc trade options. No. Because everybody's just getting traded.
No one's getting traded. That's the scary thing. I don't think anyone's geting traded. Or if they do, it's gonna be really tiny contracts.
The funny thing is, remember when we used to say trade everyone? It might happen.
That was a thing. It might happen. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think we're gonna be super disappointed.
Yeah. All right. So
do I think Meier's leaving? No, I do not.
No.
It could happen, but I don't think it's a sure thing.
Nope. So with that, we'll wrap this one up. In case you missed anything or you want to watch this again, check us out on tealtownusa.com. Of course, you can catch us on your favorite podcatcher wherever you get your podcasts: Apple, Google, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Odyssey. Of course, if you're watching us right now on the YouTube channel or you're watching the replay, leave a comment down below. Where would you like to see Timo Meier or Erik Karlsson be tormented and trading to going to? Preferably East Coast, I would think, because the last thing you need is need them over in the West, or worse, in the Pacific. But also don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell when we do go on the air after every single Sharks game, home and away. Let's. I know we don't do the wraparound, but yes, congratulations to Steven Stamkos getting his 500th goal in Vancouver, just like Patrick Marleau did.
And his 501st, I believe, as well.
I believe so. Vancouver breaking out the snazzy new skate uniforms, and just in time for Gino Ochick being honored after his passing. But with that, I will hand it to you, Mr. Ian Reid. Your final thoughts on this evening.
Final thoughts. I have something I do want to say about this whole Ivan Provorov situation.
Perfect.
I think that, obviously, look, it's unfortunate. I understand, again, I think, people should have the right to do what they want to do. And I think, so Ivan Provorov not taking the skate fine, that's his right. But then I have the right to criticize or disagree, which I do. But I think, more importantly than listening to me go on some bullshit soliloquy about it, I think what I would encourage people to do is, because I'm a straight white guy, right? So I disagree. Obviously, I'm a pretty progressive dude. I like to treat everyone equally, and I like to be, I like to think that we have an inclusive community. What I would encourage people to do is, instead of listening to a slapdick like me, I would go and listen to the fine people over at Over the Glass, or find somebody who covers the sport who is from the LGBTQ community and listen to their thoughts on it. Listen to how it makes them feel. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how I feel. That's who's important, right? Like those are the feelings that I think should matter. And I think if you are not supportive, I think you should go and at least, hear their side of it. That's what I would suggest you do. That's what I would do. And also when the Sharks do good, it's good.
He's at Ian Blogs Hockey. I'm at PuckGuy14 on Twitter and Instagram. My final thought on that is, and well said to mention over the glass. That's definitely a thing. Hockey should be for everyone.
Yeah, it should be for everyone.
It should be welcome into open arms and everything.
If you are a person who feels that because someone puts like rainbow on their jersey that you are no longer included, like that's a you problem. That's not a them problem. That's a you problem. If the inclusion of everyone makes you feel not included, then you need to evaluate.
Indeed.
That's it.
We appreciate and love each and every one of you,
yes.
No matter what your background is from, what your preferences are, or whatnot. We come here to love and support hockey, and that's what it should be down the road, no matter what. So, thank you for watching. Take care, everyone. We should also mention at the note, Warsofsky got the puck to the head. They put his head in the way because it was TNT and they wanted some extra airtime. Okay, but he took like 8-10 stitches to the head and then came out like in the middle of the second period. So looks like he'll be doing okay. He'll probably be day to day. But with that, thanks for watching. Appreciate it, each and every one of you. Until next time, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal. Have a great night, everyone. We will see you Saturday following Sharks and Blue Jackets as the Sharks begin a massive road trip. Have a great night, everyone.